Hello there my friends, my name is Riskafish and today I'm bringing you a video on something a little different. The Troy Saga received a new trailer yesterday and was confirmed to be a one-year Epic Games exclusive, with the forums being spammed by angry fans worried that Warhammer 3 could face the same fate. This video is just a quick explanation of the current situation, and also to explain why Warhammer 3 won't be an Epic Games exclusive, as many people are starting to fear. The first important thing to mention here is that Troy is free if you claim it in the first 24 hours, and this is important because CA don't give away games for free, especially not brand new ones. There are a few possible implications of this. Firstly, Epic Games could be shouldering the development costs of the game, which is actually a common tactic in the industry, with Nintendo outright paying for the development costs of Bayonetta 2 in order to make the game exclusive to their platform. The important thing to mention here is that while Bayonetta fans were angry with the exclusivity, the game itself wouldn't have even existed in the first place without Nintendo's funding. The Troy Saga could well be in a similar situation, and while it did appear on Steam, early listings are not unusual and it is useful to do this as a way to advertise the project. The game is also going to be available on Steam anyway after a year, so it really isn't all that strange for it to be listed now. The next thing to talk about is the performance of the Saga series in general and the costs of Steam. Thrones of Britannia was both the first Saga game and the last original title in the series, and unfortunately did not do too well in terms of sales. What made this worse is that Steam's cut on games is a ridiculous 30% of the sale price, meaning that the already meagre profits of the project were pushed to perilous levels. At least by signing this exclusivity deal with Epic Games for Troy, they practically guarantee that the game will at least cover its development costs. One fear I also have is that the Saga series has actually been used by CA to train its newer members before moving them on to bigger titles, as there is definitely a difference in quality, at least in my opinion. This actually does bode well for Warhammer 3 though, a mainline title which is a project that certainly seems to be needing more staff and time than originally expected. Now that the rough situation has been explained, the big question then is why will Warhammer 3 not be an exclusive for Epic Games, and there are several reasons for this. Firstly, as mentioned prior, Saga games don't tend to do well financially, so as a developer, if a company offered you a guaranteed return on the project, it would be nothing short of madness to refuse it, especially if you're using it to train up newer members of your workforce. Warhammer 2 however is selling very well at the moment, with its current player base being even larger than at launch, thanks to the success of the Warden and the Punch DLC, so the Warhammer trilogy does not need this financial guarantee, whereas the Saga series do. Secondly, Warhammer 3 Total War is part of a trilogy with numerous DLCs and games already available on Steam, which make it part of an existing package. Saga titles however are completely independent of each other and stand alone, so exclusivity on these titles does not affect a larger picture, and so is far less significant. Now let's talk about the forums, because there are a lot of people accusing CA of doing this purely for the money and not making smart decisions, so let's scrutinise this for a second. Firstly, let's examine the accusation that CA are shills. In almost every recent load pack, the paid DLC has been accompanied by just as much, if not more, free content, and if you look back on the Warhammer Wiki or Steam, you'll realise it is actually kind of insane how much free content CA has been adding to the game. What makes this even more significant is that a lot of it isn't even for Warhammer 2 specifically, it's for Warhammer 1 races such as the Dwarves and the Vampire counts that have already received the rework. These are practically from a 4-year-old game that was also the previous game in the series. Supporting and showing love to old content like this is something that a lot of game developers simply don't do, especially for free. Bear in mind that neither the Dwarves or the Vampire counts have any paid content in Warhammer 2. And I don't know about you guys, but free DLC is a term I don't use that often with games anymore, but Total War Warhammer is actually one of them that I do. CA is a company that has rewarded loyal players again and again with free content, and has shown a lot of goodwill. Another accusation is that CA will make Warhammer 3 an Epic Games exclusive without regard for the current fans, which is severely underestimating the intelligence of CA as a business. This is a company that hid a whisper in a video half a year in advance of the DLC that it was foreshadowing, and almost no one picked up on it. They are very clever and do think things through in advance. Not to mention that CA has been making Total War games for a very long time and is still growing as a company. Just look at the success of the Warden and the Punch, which has seen player numbers to grow to unparalleled sizes, a bit like Grom's stomach. I know there has been other gaming companies involved in shillish behaviour, but judging everyone based on the actions of one company is always going to get you the wrong answer. CA said it themselves, have a little faith. This sadly brings us to the end of the video. If you stayed to the end, thanks for watching. Warhammer 3 I think will unquestionably be available on Steam. It might be available on Epic Games as well, but as a developer, having your game accessible on as many platforms as possible is just good business sense. And let's be honest, if people are talking about money grabbing, then Steam taking 30% of the sales is definitely a much bigger issue. That's all for now, thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time.